Question 5. Now, for those of you that have entered the Tourism Awards in the past, I'd like to draw your attention to this question because there have been some significant changes. The title of this question is now called Responsible Tourism. So in the past, it may have been referred to as sustainability, in some instances, environmental sustainability and community, and in some instances, sustainability and innovation. It's very important that if you are using a submission you have prepared previously, that you update this part of your submission. There are now 5 new questions that make up this overall question, and they're subtly different to what you've answered previously. Question 5A, how do you save and monitor water, energy and reduce waste? Now I suggest you answer this response in 3 parts. The first part is to think about how do you measure your water usage? What do you do in relation to water retention? And I think a key word to think about in answering this question is what do you do that is innovative in the environmental space? So consider, if you get a water bill, can you go back over previous years to actually track your usage? Have you been able to reduce water consumption through a variety of innovations? So what the judges are looking for is to understand how are you saving water? Okay? And how do you know that you're saving water? How are you monitoring that? Likewise with energy, judges are looking to understand what your energy usage is. So if you have a power bill, this is an easy way for you to determine how much electricity you consume annually. What you may be able to do is break down that energy consumption into a per person or a room consumption rate. And that way you can create a level playing field to draw comparisons with how you have performed in the qualifying period with the previous year. We also are looking to understand how you reduce waste. So do you compost? Do you have a worm farm? Do you recycle? If you know how much waste you divert from landfill, we would love to hear about that. Using charts and diagrams in this response will make it very easy for the judges to see how you have saved and how you have monitored your water, your energy and your waste consumption. So make sure you come up with some graphs. But don't forget to focus on the words. What are the new innovations you've put into place to reduce water, energy and waste consumption? Question 5B, how do you involve the local community in your business? Judges will be seeking to understand your involvement in activities that help improve or restore local conditions. For example, if you are located in an area that is adjacent to one of our inland rivers, maybe you have been doing some riverbank replanting. After the floods of recent years, maybe there have been initiatives put into place to try and restore local conditions. This question can also highlight for you the networks and the relationships you have with other tourism businesses. So it may be that you are an accommodation house in a local town and you've partnered with a local tour operator to provide packages for visitors. It may be that you're actually involved in volunteer programs yourself. Maybe you volunteer at the local visitor information centre or you're a volunteer on your local tourist association. It could be also that you conduct a volunteer program within your business and you involve then local community members. Tell us about what you do there. Tell us about how many volunteer hours have contributed to a particular project. Likewise, membership of your community organisations is really important. So if you're a member of your local Rotary Club or your local Scout group or whatever it may be that helps your local community, let us know. General destination promotion, where your business directs other visitors to regional attractions, products and experiences, is also an important tool to be talking about. Thinking about if you attend a consumer show, you probably don't go just to promote your own business, but you want to try and attract people to your destination. And when they're in your destination, stay at your accommodation, and utilise the other tourism services available to them. Your local community involvement may also be involving your local heritage groups, so the historical societies, and also local Indigenous groups. Consider also the percentage of your employees who live locally. What we want to see is that you're injecting wages back into that local economy. Question 5C, how do you support your local economy? The key areas that judges will be looking for in this response is your approach to buying local. Can you go through your balance sheet from last year and your profit and loss, look at your expenses that you actually spent locally? You'd probably be surprised with the amount of dollars that you contribute into your local economy. So provide the judges with a dollar value. Likewise, you may be able to determine the percentage of your expenditure that is invested locally. And it may be that 85% of your entire expenditure in your business is invested back into the local economy. Judges will also be seeking to understand your provision of jobs and employment for your local community. So if 100% of your employees are local residents, tell us about that. And also tell us about the dollar value of the wages that are injected back into that local economy. Sponsorships for local events is another way that you can support your local economy, and please tell us how you're involved with that. As are if you have trainees or apprentices within your business. Let us know how many people you have employed in that capacity. The quantifiable measurement of the economic benefits that you contribute back to your local economy is integral. And that will really set your response apart from your competitors in this category. In determining what your local economy is, we will be guided by you. So tell us about what makes up your geographic footprint. Is it a 100-kilometre radius? Is it a 50-kilometre radius? Is it a 5-kilometre radius? And another way that you can enhance this response is by including local supplier testimonials. So if you buy all of your meat from the local butcher down the road, maybe he's prepared to provide a quote for you about the value that you provide to his business annually. Question 5, Part D. How do you encourage guests to be sustainable during their time with you? I would suggest that you think about all stages of the buying cycle in how you communicate to your customers about your responsible practices. Reflect on the previous 3 questions that we've talked about and think about your responsible practices in relation to energy, water and waste usage, as well as your involvement with the local community and the local economy. When guests pre-book with you, do you have policy statements that actually talk to them about your responsible practices? Do they actually identify that you are an ecotourism accredited business, or that you have Respecting Our Culture accreditation, and therefore it's very important that the local Indigenous community be involved in your business? Do you also consider when guests arrive at your business, if they arrive on your tour or they arrive in your accommodation, how are you encouraging them to be sustainable? Are you providing them with recycling bins? Are you providing them with information about the recent solar panels that you put onto the roof? Are you providing them with information about the endangered species that live in the habitats surrounding your cottages? So consider at a practical level how you're communicating your ethics in terms of responsible tourism and trying to impart that onto your guests. Consider also during their stay, are there other innovations that you've put in place to help them appreciate the sustainable nature of your business? This may be related to things like forest walks. It may be that you provide information in relation to Discovery Ranger tours or local Indigenous tours. So how are you communicating this information? And likewise, after they have stayed with you, do they take away a message about what you have done in terms of responsible tourism? Is there something that they can take with them as a memento to remember what they've experienced and the innovations you've put into place? Question 5, Part E. How do you promote your sustainability? Now, what we are talking about here is not just promoting your responsible tourism sustainability to your customers, but we're talking about a wider audience. So think about, how do you use your website to actually promote your responsible tourism initiatives? For example, it may be that you have just won an environmental grant to put solar panels onto your cottages in the bush. Maybe you've chosen to communicate that through your Facebook page. It may be that within the local community, you distribute media releases to let them know about new innovations that you've been implementing that are setting you aside as a leader in the responsible tourism sector. It may be through industry events where you participate in guest speaking opportunities. Maybe you provide case studies for your industry associations about responsible tourism initiatives that you've actually put into place. So consider everything from your digital communications, your participation in awards programs. If you're a holiday park or a tourist park, maybe you participate in your Gumnut Awards, which are actually all about responsible tourism. So think about, how do you communicate that? Do you proudly hang that logo on your business? Do you put that on all of your marketing collateral? And do you participate in the Gumnut Awards? Likewise, with public relations, when you have a journalist or media attending your business, are you promoting your responsible tourism initiatives to them? And this can also include practical elements like signage and your marketing collateral. So think very practically about how you promote your sustainability, not just to consumers, but to a wider audience.